Hi, I'm Aaliyah Woods, co-founder and farm manager for CommonWealth Urban Farms. This is our beginning gardener video series designed to help you have a successful garden even if you've never planted a seed in your life. Today we're going to plant sweet potatoes. I was going to focus on herbs, but the sweet potato slips arrived in the mail and we got to get them planted. But first, let's see how our garden survived the last week of thunderstorms. So we have our head lettuce here. You can see the leaves got really beaten up. This is typical of a really hard rain. We didn't get hail, but even a hard rain can do quite a bit of damage. Even the pepper leaves got pretty torn up. They will grow through it. This is not going to keep the plant from being healthy. Our tomato plant looks pretty good. We need to, every week or twice a week, just nudge it back into the cage, just like that. Keep the arms enclosed inside the cage. We've got little cherry tomatoes coming along. This is a sun gold. There we go. There's a little tiny green tomato right there. So it won't be long before those start turning orange. We have our arugula that we planted a while back, and it is ready to finish harvesting it and take it out. You can see it's starting to blossom. So these are actually edible, the arugula flowers. The whole plant, every part of the plant is edible. As it starts to flower and bolt or go to seed, it becomes more bitter. Or in hot weather, it becomes more bitter. So you have to really like arugula to like it at this stage. We're going to go ahead and harvest it, serve it for lunch today. And then next week we'll plant something else here. So I'm just going to go ahead and harvest the whole patch, just like that. We've got some younger leaves in here that will be a little more tender. All right, that's most of the arugula. And now we can see the chard up front. It also got pretty beat up in the rain. Those leaves are tattered, but it'll come through. It'll just keep on sending out new leaves. Here's the lettuce that we harvested 2 or 3 weeks ago, and it's regrown beautifully. We've got plenty of lettuce to cut again now. I might cut it tonight and have it for supper. And the green onions in here, which are now starting to bulb up. So we'll pick a couple of those too. The onions are perfectly good to harvest at any stage, from green onion size right on up to full-sized onions. These are sometimes called spring onions when they're at the kind of mini bulb stage. Our yard lawn beans got washed away in that flood. They were right next to where the roof pours down water, and they just got washed away. So I'll replant this week. Not too late. All right, now it's time. Oh, and let's look at the planting of radishes and cilantro over here underneath our tomato. So we've got some grass, some weed seeds coming up. I think this probably came from the straw that we used, probably had some grass seed in it, but it's not a big deal. We can just pull it out. And the cilantro and the radishes will keep on growing fine. So this radish looks like it's big enough to harvest. What a pretty radish. And then there's cilantro right back here that's we can harvest at any stage of growth. So we might cut some of that tonight for supper too. And then it'll just keep on regrowing. And here's the okra that we planted last week. So here's our little seedlings, look great. And the seeds that we planted last week have germinated. This is the Burgundy Okra. You can actually see the veining on the leaf has a little bit of a red tinge to it. That will increase as it grows. So yeah, they popped up. Yay! We're going to plant sweet potatoes by slips. That's what we have here. This is a sweet potato slip. You know when you store sweet potatoes for too long and you start seeing a little stem and leaves growing out of it? That's what these are. First, before we plant, let's prepare the bed. So we're going to add some compost to our planting bed. And I'm planting in the same bed as we planted okra last week, on the south end of the bed. And we're just going to work that in. All right, sweet potatoes like a loose, fertile soil. So now we're going to take one of the slips. Oftentimes you can see roots on them, but even if the roots haven't formed yet, it's still fine to plant them. The slips often look kind of pitiful, but they are amazingly resilient. So we're going to make a hole and pop it down there. So we're planting them several inches deep and kind of hilling it up around the slip. Keep them about 12 inches apart. Just poke it down in and hill it up. We're planting these on 12-inch centers all through this half of the bed. In a traditional garden, when your soil isn't nearly as fertile, you'll need to plant them farther apart. But we're able to plant them this closely together because of the high quality of our soil. Now we'll put some mulch around them. And then we'll lightly water them in. We've had so much rain lately, we don't need to water them very much. Just enough, just barely enough to settle the soil around each of the slips. The soil is already plenty damp. All right. So I'll keep on, I'll finish the bed out there. We'll probably get about 6 slips in this little area right here. They'll grow all summer long, have a beautiful green mat of green glossy leaves that looks good even in the middle of August. We'll harvest them probably in October. Next week we'll get back to herbs, and I hope you can join me then. Happy gardening.